Welcome back to the Weeb Lounge, and this is kind of a continuance of the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. This one focuses on Season 2. Now, Season 1 I absolutely loved. Season 2 I absolutely hate. Now, without going too much into the characters again, you have Haruhi, our god. You have Kyon, the normal guy. You have Nagato, the time-displaced robot alien girl, whatever the heck she is. I still don't know. Mikuru, you have the time traveler. And Koizumi, you have the Esper slash magic guy, whatever the heck he does, right? Now, Season 1 was absolutely positively great because of the plot device of Haruhi being a god and not actually knowing that she's a god, causing a whole bunch of mischief and chaos. Season 2, a majority of it, kind of just continues that same premise, okay? She causes issues, normal people, quote unquote, have to try to fix it. Except I hate it because of one experimental, which ended up turning out to be a dumbass move, Endless 8. This has become kind of a legend in anime fandom, okay? If you don't know exactly what it is, I'll give it a little bit of an explanation, but more in-depth, you probably just Google it yourself. Endless 8 was an experiment where it's an 8-part setup, 8 episodes, and the first one, when you watch the first one, it just kind of seems like a regular day where they're kind of having a day off on vacation or whatever, and they're having fun and blah, blah, blah. And it just ends on no noticeable note or anything. And it just, you know, it's just kind of like a happy, fun episode. There's nothing really that goes on with it. You know, there's no real plot development. There's no character development. It's just like, hey, here's a happy, fun episode. Everybody's cool. Okay? Then you go to part 2. You start watching part 2, and everything's the same. Opening's the same. Characters are doing the same thing. You start watching it. You're watching it, and you're like, wait a minute. I already seen this episode. What the heck's going on? And you start to doubt yourself. When I turned this on, I thought, okay, well, wait a minute. Did I turn on the wrong episode? And I go and check, and I was like, no, this is the right episode. This is what it's marked. Okay, start watching it. And I was like, well, something's got to be weird. And it's an 8-part thing. So, okay, I'm just going to watch it and see what the heck. And in the second part, you start noticing tiny, tiny little subtle differences. Okay? It's pretty much all the same episode as part 1, with the exception of a couple subtle differences. I mean, it's one hell of a way to save on a budget, right? You know, for an anime. Eesh. Go to part 3. Same damn thing. It's the same thing. Only these subtle differences start to increase. They become a little bit less subtle. Go to part 4, same thing. Go to part 5, same thing. And you end up starting to go, oh my God, what the hell? Basically, it's Groundhog Day, okay? Groundhog Day type scenario, but nobody remembers anything except Nagato. Nagato remembers every detail of everything through every single time this is relived. But for whatever reason, she doesn't say anything because she's supposed to be there as an observer. She's not supposed to intrude on whatever the heck's going on, right? That's her thing, so she never says anything. Well, apparently they've lived through this day like over 100,000 times. Some ridiculous number, okay? Now imagine any one of us sitting here remembering everything that goes on every single day, okay? And the same day repeats over and over and over 100,000 times. Nobody's getting older, nothing's changing, everything's always the same. Imagine how bored out of your absolute mind you would get. Okay, if you just go with the flow and relive the same day 100,000 times over, or whatever it was in the anime, whatever number that was. That would have to be absolute torture, but for, you know, Nagato, it's like she's just like, whatever. Yeah, we're cool. Get a personality, my God. So what ends up happening is, other than Nagato and not saying anything, it keeps reliving over and over and over. Nothing really changes, and it turns out that Haruhi doesn't want the day to end. Like it just keeps going on and on, because the way it ends isn't quite what she envisioned. It's not like she wants the perfect day, and she can't get that perfect day. So she's like, man, I wish I could relive that. And of course, it relives nonstop, infinitely, until whatever it is that she wanted to change actually changes. Eventually, the scenario repeats so much and so often that the characters start having like deja vu. Okay, they say, well, wait a minute, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. And all the characters, over time, that sense of deja vu gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and they start remembering more and more and more as the loops continue. So eventually, they're able to break out of the circle, the cycle. And turns out it was just Kyon saying something toward the end of the day that actually broke the cycle. But the way they did it, the entire thing, if they wanted to do the Groundhog type thing, they could have brought it down to 3 episodes. You know, part 1, just that episode. Part 2, it starts off like the first half is like reliving it, but then the second half, they realize everything is going on, the deja vu and blah, blah, blah. And then like the third part or whatever, they find a way to resolve it, relive it, whatever, and they're able to resolve the whole situation. That would have actually made for a really good device. But instead, they decided to experiment. I guess I can give the creators credit for doing something as bold, I guess you could say, as this. Because you just don't see stuff like this happen, okay? But the problem with this one is it fell flat on its face. Everybody thought that they were just airing the same episode. Everybody thought that there was something wrong. It didn't serve the purpose that it was meant to serve, and that's build up suspense, build, build, build. It did none of that. Instead, most people just thought they were watching the same episode over and over, and nobody cared. And plus, a lot of people think they did it because they were saving on animation expenditures. They like had this budget or whatever, and they're like, oh, well, if we make 8 episodes that are pretty much identical, then, well, our budget goes for each of these episodes goes way down, and we can spend that money elsewhere on other episodes or another series or something, and just make this one really cheap. Sounds great. No, it's not. It was the stupidest fucking idea I've ever seen in anime. Yeah. It's horrible. It's horrible. Basically, if you watch season 2 of Haruhi, Endless 8, part 1, watch it. Then pick one in the middle, like 4 or 5. Pick one of those, watch it. Then go to part 8, watch it. There you go. There's your 3. You don't have to worry about any of those other fillers, because nothing really important develops in any of those at all. First one, pick one in the middle. Last one, you good. Continue on with the rest of the show. Now, the rest of the show itself, typical Haruhi stuff. It's actually good stuff. But the Endless 8 really killed it, because 8 episodes of the same thing, more or less. I mean, you can't have a whole season of anime be the same thing, episode over and over. And it practically is the whole damn thing. It's over half of the season. Over half of the season is pretty much the same damn episode. You can't do it. It's dumb, and it was stupid. Stupid! Anyways, that's the reason we hate season 2. Season 1 was awesome. Season 2 sucked ass. And with that, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. More anime videos to come, more streaming to come, and we're going to have to figure out a little something extra to do. And we'll figure that out hopefully soon.